What is happening, everybody? What is going on? It's Saturday night. We're not doing a review show tonight. So we switched things up a little bit since tomorrow is Valentine's Day. And the wife was like, I'll murder you if you go live. No, she didn't say that, but she probably would. So I opened up, what's Zener? Somebody got the joke. So I thought that was funny. You know, have you guys ever noticed when I make the titles up for the interviews, I always try to come up with something funny. And, you know, Zener made me think of that show, the movie Superbad, where he's like, ask me about my wiener. So I'm like, ask me about my Zener. So somebody will get the reference, and I think somebody did. How's it going, Andre? How's it going, Courtney? Thanks for joining tonight. So definitely excited to talk to Alex tonight about their first project with Energy Comics, Zener. Without further ado, we're going to bring him out. How's it going, Alex?
What up? What up? Thanks for having me. Excited to be
problem.
on here.
My spider Zener is tingling. Hey, what's going on, Lewis? Hey, Wendy. Hey, James Smithers. I guess Wendy Shaner is in his house. So how you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing good. I'm pumped to be here. I'm pumped to be sharing Zener. I'm pumped to be meeting other people. I'm pumped to be on your show for the first time ever.
Yeah, so you guys have been talking about this project for quite a while. I've been seeing it kind of lingering around here and there. I've been seeing posts of for quite a few months.
Oh yeah, we've been working on this since probably since 2 years ago. You know, we've been building the comic. We've been promoting everywhere, trying to build an audience, and now we're live and we're excited to bring people to the comic. You know.
So first off, what was the inspiration for Zener? How did you guys come up with the idea for this character and this book?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. I'll try to condense it into a short speech if I can, but it started way back in college. That's when I was really starting to get into comic creating my own characters. And at the time, you know, I had a lot of characters, and I was trying to work through this big challenge, I want to call it, which I combined Batman and Superman with some way. And sadly, the only way I kept trying to force giving Batman Superman abilities, you know, and I could never get that to work. So this project was put on the shelf, and it would come back on repeatedly and not. And then towards the end of my college years, I got an idea for a character who had all the psychic abilities, not just telepathy and telekinesis, but all the minor ones that you only see in minor TV shows like supernatural medium, like mediumship, dowsing, aura reading, you know, some of the more forgotten ones. And I thought, how cool would it be if a guy had all those abilities and just was like the psychic supreme.
So and how bad would that be at the same time, having all that information coming in?
Yeah, it would. So so I took this old idea and I put it into this new idea that I had, and I kept working it because it still was an on-off project. And then a couple of years ago, it kind of struck me, you know, the way that I could create a kind of fusion of Batman and Superman was to actually take an upbeat, moral, Boy Scoutish healer of a character like Superman and give him Batman-sized psychological dark problems. Hey, Jonathan, nice to have you. Thank you. And, you know, just when I realized that, you know, I feel like that was the perfect way because, you know, we'd have this very powerful going up lots of dark stuff and kind of very dark villains, very powerful. And it's taken a toll on him. You know, like Zener, he's a very nice guy. He's a psychiatrist by nature. He heals people. He tries to help his villains more than he fights them. But at the same time, all this stuff that's going on around him, it's almost too much for him to bear, you know? It's putting a stress on him mentally, which especially is bad because that's one of his biggest weaknesses is that he's not all right in the head. You know, he's struggling to keep it together. He has OCD, depression, anxiety, you know, a lot of stuff that people go through, and a lot of things that people see, in this day with themselves within Zener. And on top of that, he's dealing with superheroics, and you know, it's the project is really coming together. We're ready to share with the world, you know.
Yeah, and you pretty much just described everybody that experienced 2020. You know, just kidding. So I guess that was kind of your inspirations growing up. Those are the books that you liked. It was kind of like the Batman, Superman style stuff based on what you were describing about the book.
Somewhat. You know, honestly, superheroes have been something that I've been a fan of ever since I was a kid. You know, my earliest superhero introductions were actually the Power Rangers, and those influenced me in a big way. Still do. Still working on finding a way to turn that into something. But also, other series, most notably Bruce Timm's DC shows, like Batman the Animated Series was a huge one, and Superman, Batman, Superman. Justice League, Justice League Unlimited, Batman Beyond, Static Shock, all those shows had a big influence on me. And then, eventually in high school, I started getting to like discovering other superheroes like Green Lantern and Flash, the Runaways, Spider Man. I just grew up surrounded by heroes. I just always been into them, and part of the reason I write them is because I've always been a fantasy of mine to be a superhero. And that's not exactly possible unless you're rich and really fit, which I am not. So I figured the next best thing to do would be to write about them, to create all the characters that I just think would be awesome and create fantastic stories about them.
That's awesome. So what was your favorite character growing up? It's like, what was your big, like, this was your go-to character? Like, this was one that you had to get every week or every month?
Well, it kind of changed as I went through like the ages. The first comics I got were actually based off the old Batman Superman show, so like Batman Adventures, Superman Adventures, and then eventually Teen Titans came out, and I started getting the Teen Titans Go, done by Todd, Todd the artist, and then and then like and then in high school I discovered the Runaways, Marvel's Runaways, and that was the book that just really got me into comic collecting. I had to go to the comic store, just get everything I could about them, and that's when I really got into collecting. And then like from there, I started getting like into storylines like Green Lantern, like Blackest Night, Brightest Day, and then I got into like the Flashpoint, which made me a really big fan of Flash, and I started collecting New 52 stuff, and then Superior Spider-Man. So it's changed all the while. But I guess if I had to say which one I still collect, like no matter what, it would probably be Marvel's Runaways, because that's like the series, like I said, that got me really into comic collecting, and that's just the one I always go for. I have to have every issue of that.
Awesome. Let's see. I'm going to pull this up and kind of show off a little bit of the art for the people in the audience. Give me just a second to pull it up. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I promise.
Please don't time. No, but please take all the time you need.
Well, they changed the whole share screen thing, so I'm interested to see how this works. We'll either make it or break it.
This is kind of learning for me the next time I try to go live on Facebook.
Oh yeah, no joke.
Yeah.
Never admit to liking the New 52. Yeah.
Never keep it a secret what you like. Just that people will respect you more if you tell them what you like.
So here's some of the artwork here. Now, who does the artwork for the book?
The artist is Juan Palo, and I think I pronounced that right. And he is an artist from the Philippines. I first discovered him on DeviantArt back when we were kind of forming NRG Comics, trying to get really serious about our comics. And at the time, this first series we were doing, our previous artist had left, and we were looking for a new one. And so we brought Juan on, and his art style was just really great. And we just knew that we had to use him for Zener because as you can see, he does a great job of bringing to life that classic comic book feel, but at the same time, making it its own unique thing. He's got that unique flair, but he's captured classic comics.
Yeah, and then one of the things that really caught my eye about the project too is you guys, kind of planned ahead on this instead of just showing off a few images of the book. You guys also have a little teaser here with reading issue 0 for free, and there's a link there for you to go check it out. And I really like that. That's really cool.
Yeah. Well, the issue 0 was something we had planned ahead for a long time. We saw it as a great way to kind of set the setting for the series, get people variously interested, kind of tell them what it's about, build up our audience. And a lot of people who like join us didn't really know much about Zener, so we wanted to this is a great way to get new people hooked too, and just kind of introduce them.
And you guys went simple too. I mean, that's the other nice thing. You get kind of overwhelmed with a lot of tiers, but you guys, kind of kept it to the basics. You got the digital copy, the digital and print copy, and then the Empress book. Would you mind explaining to us what the Empress book is?
Yes, Empress was our first series, and like this first series we ever did with Energy Comics. Now, Empress, I should mention at this point, is actually going to be our next project to tackle again, which is going to be revamped up to current standards, because we've learned a lot since we first got into comics, and we want to bring all the same level of strength that we want to with Empress. But for that book, Empress is the story of an evil industrialist named Ursula Nolan, who death of her parents really affected her in deep ways, so much that she turned her parents' eco-friendly practices into a an industrial empire that polluted the earth so much. And one day she has like a fateful encounter with Mother Nature that gives her like a penance for her sins. And in the end, she's given a second chance by becoming her herald. So she becomes this nature superhero, defends the world from all sorts of pollution-based enemies. And in that book, it tells her origins, sets the setting, and it gets her first supervillain battle. It has everything you want in a origin book. You know.
So this will basically get you the printed copy of Zener, and you get the Empress book as well.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, and I should mention that we do plan to revamp Empress, but this will be a great way to introduce you to a character, and then when we introduce the guys to what's coming, we'll think you will be blown away by how much of our level has changed. It's like we're all artists still learning. So
no, I totally get it.
Yeah, but we've grown and we're developed, and we think that this with Zener and what we have planned will be like a great way to showcase just how much we're serious about this and how much we want to do right by our readers.
And then you also got the alternate covers, a digital sketch by a Zener artist, and then you've got the be drawn into the comic, which is running out of spots soon. You got 6 out of 10 left.
Yep. So you can be drawn to the comic. You can be part of Zener's origins. You can have a digital black and white sketch done by our artists, and that'll be any character you want, real or fictional, from any like franchise or life you want. He'll do it. It's pretty awesome. And like what you said about keeping it simple, we felt that was the best thing to do, like especially since it's our first campaign, because we felt like this is also a learning experience for us. And we're doing it pretty well, and like our results show for itself. But at the same time, we're hoping to kind of find a model that works for us, and then keep it going with our other campaigns.
Yeah, and I mean, you definitely don't want to overwhelm yourself either, because I mean, with having a bunch of backers and having all these add-ons and all this stuff to do, it kind of gets overwhelming for you as a creator too.
Yeah, it does. It does. But in a weird way, I enjoy it. A lot. If it were any other situation of type of job, I wouldn't really probably enjoy it. But like when it comes to comics, this is stuff I enjoy working on no matter what. Promoting it, writing it, drawing it. So for this is a good kind of pressure for me. And it's the same with my editor and writer for Zener Web and our artist Juan.
So how long do you plan on, taking the Zener series as far as, this actual series here? I mean, is it you have a finite amount of issues you have planned out and you might do a few story arcs, or is it kind of wait and see?
Well, no, I mean, this is we have some stuff planned out, but we're kind of leaving it open-ended, honestly. We want to create a whole big universe with like Zener in it and Empress and a bunch of other superheroes we have. Because that's one of my biggest goals has always been to create the next big Marvel or DC universe, the next big superhero universe. So it's a big ambition. And Zener and Empress are the starting point of that, and we hope to branch out to like this, like just this unlimited amount of storytelling. But of course, done in like the right way. It's not like we're revamping everything or rebooting or forgetting canon. No, we want to do it just like as best with every. We want to do it right by our fans, because we're also comic book fans. And we've heard, the stories of what people are upset about when it comes to bigger companies, and we want to give them the right way to tell stories.
So what kind of, that's one of the things I didn't look at. So what kind of timeline do you guys have as far as once the campaign ends for fulfillment on the books?
You mean like what comes next after the campaign ends?
Yeah, I mean, is the book completely finished? Is there still a little bit of art that needs to be finished up? Like, where are you at with the project right now?
Right now, we are working on the 3rd issue script for the book. So it collects like issues 1 through 3. So it's like it's basically a graphic novel, and like they come in a 3-issue format. Okay. And then once the campaign ends, production of the book will be going in, and then like it'll be going to printers, and then it'll be shipped off.
So everything for issue 1's done. You guys are ready to send to print as soon as it's finished.
Yep, but all these issues are going to be collected in one trade paperback.
I got you.
So,
okay.
But basically, like the storytelling is like in 3-issue arcs. It has that classic like cliffhanger story feel to it, but it's collected in a trade back format, which people like.
Yeah. Lewis, where in the world is this coming from? Have you been drinking again? You must be outside Staff's house in Cape Cod. I don't know what's going on here. Blue cheese has mold in it.
He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. Not wrong at all. So that's what the next big thing is. That's kind of your plan with Empress and Zener. You plan on building more characters on after this and running a few series and then coming back and doing kind of like a multiverse style format.
Well, not exactly multiverse. It's only going to be like in one kind of
Yeah, in
one
one
singular
universe.
word. Yep. But yeah, our plan actually is to explore our universe, starting with actually 3 heroes. So it's going to be Empress, Zener, and we have another character that we want to introduce. And this is actually the one I'm looking forward most to writing. It's called Toon Man, and it's about a cartoon character who is banished to our world while making a deal with the cartoon devil to kind of be an actual cartoon character again. And in the process, he becomes one of the greatest superheroes of our universe. And then, so our plan is to introduce these 3, and then put them together on a team, and then through these 4 title series, expand our universe and just branch out from there. But basically, these 3 are going to be our Fantastic Four. They're going to start our universe, and they're what we're going to build on.
Well, that sounds kind of cool, Toon Man. He makes a deal with the cartoon devil, huh?
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of lore that goes into it. This has been a project I've been working on for years, not just since college, but high school. And like I said, I'm very excited to read it. Write it. But we want to do Empress and Zener first.
No,
They're the ones we've come first, and plus the people are asking for Toon Man. We do have practice stuff of him up, and I feel like this build up to when we finally get to him will be like an explosion of backing.
yeah. Hey, you want to save the best for last, right? Or almost last.
Yeah.
So I totally lost my train of thought. Never admit to get out of here, Steph. Steph Wilson's being a butthead tonight. Don't make me bring up that Ruben Rosas picture, Steph Wilson. Don't make me do it. So now I'm going back to my question here. So for the variant cover, I seen there was a variant cover tier. How many variant covers do you guys have at the moment?
Well, right now we only have one, and the variant cover we have is for the tier. And what it is going to be kind of a mirrored version of the cover that you saw on the Indiegogo page, in which Zener is an adult and his younger self is in agony of his powers. But what the alternate cover is going to be is going to main villain of the book, and it's going to be a Nocturne, this evil, sadistic, murderous criminal who has the power to manipulate shadows and gains power from the inner darkness of people and influence it. And he's Zener's so the alternate cover is going to be kind of a mirror reflection of the main one, in which Nocturne in his human form will be doing a Super Saiyan power up pose, and then his super villain form will be in the back where kind of waving his arm out to the distance like attack my pets, or spreading his influence.
And then Jack asks Alex who came up with the name Zener, Master of the Mind, mind your manners.
That was kind of a team effort. For Zener actually came up to me a couple within the last 2 years. For a while, he was known as a few other things like Psychokinetic or a few other things. And then while we were doing research, I discovered the psychic. You remember there are these psychic cards that people have. They have shapes on them. They're called Zener cards, and people use them to test for ESP and telepathy. You probably remember those from the Ghostbusters. That was the opening scene that after the librarian, in which Bill Murray is screwing with the 2 college students. So that's how Zener got his name, because we thought that would be a perfect way to influence kind of the name. And again, there. And then Master of the Mind and Mind Your Manners. That was between me and my editor. We were kind of looking for a tagline to give Zener as a way to kind of draw people, and kind of like the tagline you see on movie posters. And the fact that Mind Your Manners just seemed like it screamed psychic abilities. And Master of the Mind, that actually stemmed from our last project, Empress, because her tagline was Mother Earth's handmaiden. And one thing we want to do with all our heroes to kind of separate ourselves from the other companies is that their titles are going to have their mantras in them. So they're going to have their Man of Steel. They're going to have their Dark Knights. They're going to have their Amble Amazons in them. So Empress's was Mother Earth's handmaiden. Zener's is Master of the Mind, and Toon Man's will be the Anime Ace, and this will be a recurring thing for all our books.
Lewis is going to get pimp smacked.
Let's see.
So Zener's master of the mind, and then you mind your manners, and then Empress is the handmaiden of Mother Earth.
But Mother Earth's handmaiden, yeah.
Mother Earth's handmaiden.
Yep. So, and like I said, it's like it's a little thing we have that it's kind of like what Marvel does with their titles, like the Uncanny X-Men, the Amazing Spider-Man, the Incredible Hulk. This is kind of our spin on it, But,
so, yeah, that's really. So, what did you do before you created comic books? What you said you went in college, you kind of doodled these. So, where did you end up going after college? And then was it something that was like totally way off from what you wanted to do, and you kind of like curved back to comics, or did you come out and go directly into comics?
Honestly, I've always wanted to do comics, ever since I was a kid. I mean, there was a little brief moment as a kid where I wanted to be a chef until I realized I couldn't handle the pressures of a restaurant. But I just always had this love for superheroes that I just wanted to write stories about them. And then, originally I went to college to become a comic book artist too, but I realized my strength was more as a writer. So I focused on that. And after college, what I've been doing for a day job is I work at an advertising firm building ads. So I do have a day job, but my goal is to, in the long run, make this my daily job, just to work this 24/7.
No, I totally get it, man. Same thing. So that's awesome. You work for an advertising firm, so you got the hookup for getting advertising now, right?
A little bit. I mean, it's mostly for newspapers and magazines across the state, but
newspapers, they still have those?
They do, as remarkable as it seems, and I'm glad they do.
Oh, we still have them out here too. I just know that was going to be Steph Wilson's comment, so I wanted to take the wind out of his sails with that one.
Right.
So advertising, that sounds interesting. You ever get any crazy ads that you are like, what in the heck is this?
Sometimes, I mean, honestly, with the company I work with, I'm gonna leave them anonymous if you don't mind.
But no, I don't want you to mention that. I just am curious to see what kind of crazy stuff people send in.
Well, it's like not so much like the crazy stuff they send in. It's like the craziness we have to deal with while we're making the ads. I mean, sometimes they'll give us like nothing at all to work with, or like they'll give us a lot to try and work with, but then they just decided at the last minute that this wasn't what they were asking for. But we're like, well, we have no idea exactly what you want. We're trying to give you something that you want, but you're not telling us what we want, and at the same time, it's not what you want. You don't. I don't think you know what you want.
Yeah, no. You described this, and this is what you gave you, but you don't like it, and that's not what you want. So you said you wanted this, and then we did that, and it's like, yeah, I mean, you can't make people happy anymore. You get those butt guys, as Steph Wilson calls them, like with Lewis. I like this, but let's see. Oh, they're still on a tangent. Yeah, here we go, Andre. I knew the comment was coming somewhere. What's a newspaper? He's Canadian, so I don't know if they even print newspapers up in Canada.
It's that thing where people put like just random articles in that people don't focus on because they're too busy reading the funny section.
That's right. That's always the best section. That was the greatest part. As a kid growing up, before I even knew comic books existed, was every week when the parents would get the Sunday Post Dispatch, and it'd be like, where's the comic section? Where's the comic section? And every once in a while, it'd be missing out of the newspaper. It was like the end of the world. It's like, what did you do? You bought one that didn't have one in it.
Yeah, I still can't start my morning unless I'm reading Garfield.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So that's your favorite comic strip from the newspapers is Garfield?
Well, that was one of the first comics I actually got into that wasn't, a superhero, In fact, some of my early tries at a comic were like Garfield strips, So I guess you could say they were more cartoonists than actual comic books, but, it was too short of storytelling for me, So, but it's still something I fondly love because it still is, these strips in the paper are amazing because people got to condense a very big story into like 3 short panels or even just one and just got to nail a joke on the first try. What they do is it's not easy, and I respect them for it, especially Jim Davis and the Baby Blues guy, Zitz, all those guys.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I was giving Lewis Torres trouble is he works for the local newspaper in Texas. So
Really?
he deals with fun stuff like that all the time. Actually, it was kind of funny. You were talking about, the people that aren't ever happy. We were just talking about that the other day. He ran into that issue. So he
Right.
totally gets it. And then Andre said, "Oh, you mean the paper at the bottom of the per gauge?"
Yeah. Or it's the blankets that the homeless people use to keep warm.
Yeah, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right?
Yeah.
So, are you thinking about possibly in the future? So, you mentioned earlier you went to college to do art, but you ended up deciding you wanted to do writing. Do you ever plan on, or have you and Empress done any of the artwork for any of the books?
I actually do some character design. It's mostly through a hero creator program that I found online. It has options. I mean, it's a little limited, but it helps me develop the basic idea of like ways to create character. I've really gotten good to it. So I pretty much designed almost all of our characters. With a few exceptions by Webb or Juan.
Okay, so you kind of digitally build out what the character that you want to look like, and then they base their art off of that.
Yep. So I kind of build up the character. Usually, what they get is like the same thing that we put on the page. But oftentimes I do give my artists some creative freedom with the characters, but like usually it's what I create. Again, when I'm limited, I know I have to like ask an artist for help to better create it. Yeah. But I've gotten good with what I do with these characters. I'm good at pretty much capturing the three basic, design principles. Outline, like hook, shape.
The joke.
Also could benefit from a novel creator. Ouch.
Well, see, actually, the joke's on him. The better joke would have been Russell could benefit from a title creator, because everybody has problems with the title, which I'm sure you've probably ran into that issue with your title too. You got people that are probably saying Zener or.
I do, and we just like to say Zener. It sounds better.
Hey, potato, right?
Exactly.
As long as people are looking at the book.
Yeah. In fact, I think there's a comic out there called Potato, and I can't be certain, but I'm sure people are going through that same scenario. The book's called Potato. No, it's called Potato. And they're going to war about it, and it's going to be ugly.
Well, I mean, it's just like mine. Some say Xeno Nanite Titan, and some say Xeno Nanite Titan, and it's like whatever. Whatever your best interpretation of the book is it's fine. It goes either way. Like the same thing with aliens. You got xenomorph, and some people call it xenomorph. So
exactly, I was just about to say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or you have yesterday when David Fought posted about Staff Wilson. And then we had somebody on one of the shows that put that, oh, I got something from Steph, and they spelled it Steph, and I was cracking up. I was like, yep, there's another person that thinks Steph is a woman. Which, if you missed it earlier, Steph said he knows a guy that does variant covers if you're looking. So, just saying.
I didn't see that. I appreciate the offer. We'll definitely keep you in mind. Now we're kind of doing it with Juan because this is like a big gig for him,
No, I get it.
But we may end up bringing like a guest artist in for an alternate cover. You never know. We're planning to do some like supporter based extension goals, and we might go for outside help on that,
So that was one thing I wanted to ask you too. So what kind of stretch goals do you guys have as far as once you reach your funding goal? Like, have you guys thought of anything yet? Because I noticed that I didn't really see anything on the page yet about that.
Yeah, we thought it would be best to keep those until we actually made our goal, because we know that's like how a lot of people do it. But we do have some plans. The exact prices aren't set yet, but some of our plans for stretch goals include like a physical copy of issue 0, so you won't just be able to read it digitally. You'll have a physical copy in your hands. We're thinking like a print of a print of your choice of one of the promotional art pieces we commissioned for Zener's audience building. So if you've been on Facebook, you probably see that in our gallery. We have a bunch of different Zener art from different artists. So any print you want, you'll probably get your choice of that in a print form. And then one thing we were thinking about is like a little trading card set, just a little in-company trading card set. So it'll be like Zener and a few characters from the issue 0 and issue 1, 2, and 3. So volume 1, issue 0.
I'm telling you, man, the trading cards come out really cool.
They do.
I
Those
love
are
these.
awesome. Yeah. And really, it's a great way to sell out without selling out.
Yeah, well, I mean, the trading cards are nice. I really like the trading cards, and like with Wendy's last campaign, she did something really cool. She offered a PDF file for build your own box to put your art cards in. But
right.
art cards are awesome because I have so many prints and nowhere to put them.
And they really speak to the collectors. Everyone likes to collect their own thing.
Yeah.
Like I like to collect those like statues and pop figures. And then people like to collect cards. People like to collect old like original pieces of art. People like to collect old anime DVDs. Something for everyone.
Yeah, and actually, this one's Staff Wilson, Ruben Rosas mashup here. That's Staff Wilson with this heavy metal.
Almost looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card. Well, the dragon at least.
Yeah, no, the purple dragon. Yeah, no, that's Wyvernite from my story, and that's that's Squee from CB Zane's Into the Suck riding Wyvernite. Charge! That's right. So I know one thing we kind of touched on it. So what is your elevator pitch as far as people that say what is Zener about? We explained that he's a psychic and he has all these psychic abilities. So kind of give us a rundown again of what the your elevator pitch for what the story is.
Well, Zener is Axel de Vera. He is a man who was born with immense psychic powers, but trauma in his life at a young age left him with a very fragile mentality, almost to a point where he can't use them like other psychic superheroes would. The mind is the most powerful thing when it comes to telepathy and telekinesis, and his mind is too damaged to just use them properly. And he has been in an asylum like ever since he was a boy, been experimented on, and now he's trying to escape so he can use his powers for good. But he is his own worst enemy. And not just that, but he's doing it in a town, Indigo Valley, where it looks normal, but everywhere, but in behind the shadows, there are all these really powerful players at work trying to grab power and kind of rule behind the scenes. And Zener, the most powerful, is caught in the middle of it, and he's just trying to help people, and he's his own worst enemy. And sometimes the audience is not with him. He basically is the defining of. He's basically the defining character of what it really means to be a superhero. It's not all fun and games. It really does suck sometimes. And you see him going at it with his gusto and this positive energy, trying to live it like everyday life, and you just want to root for him.
So I'm guessing too, you've got the psych ward. They've got their goons out looking for him too, and they've got him plastered all over everywhere. Have you seen this man? So he's kind of got odds stacked against him.
He does. He's got it in a lot of ways. Zener is like Spider-Man. Some people see he's good, but the majority of people see him as a menace, and that's without the newspaper telling him that he is.
Yeah, well, like they say, with great power comes great responsibility.
Yep, and with great responsibility comes a great burden.
That's right. Yeah, and I mean that's the thing too. So it's bad enough he's trying to be a superhero, and he's got all these psychic abilities. And so then you see him plastered all over the news. Hey, this person escaped from the psych ward. So if somebody actually finds out his true identity and reveals that, then he's really going to be screwed. Plus, of course, being psychic, you can tell what other people think about you. So that's got to be a burden on the mind too, as being a superhero is you're saving people, and those people you can tell in the back of their minds are like, who is this freak? And so
it is. Like everyone says they want telepathy for a superpower, but that is like that is to be careful what you wish for power right there, especially if you cannot control it.
Yeah.
And we've all seen what happened to Jean Grey. Zener, let me just tell you that what Jean Grey went through, Zener is going through a lot worse. And I hope that statement is enough to get you to read the book. But yeah, I mean when I say that, a problem psychic superheroes have, Zener, he's got more problems. But in a weird way, he's that everyday man trying to do good that you just can't help but root for. And again, it's like Spider-Man.
I'm trying to share. Let's see if I can share this. I'm going to share this cover. Because I don't remember seeing it on the... Here we go. Boop. And I'm going to break it again. Here we go. Is it going to work? There we go. You are powerless. Wendy Steensheiner's superpower is giving sugars. That is very much so. She's the sweetest. Only sugar highs, never the lows. Is this one of the variant covers here?
Well, this is the main cover. The variant
is
cover
the
is
main
going to
cover.
be the mirrored version with the villain on it. So
You guys don't have it listed on your page, though, do you?
well, no, it is on the. I think it should be on the Indiegogo page. I mean, the Indiegogo page. Is it not? Let me see.
I don't think I've seen it on there. I must have skipped over it. I don't know. I was just really interested to see what it looked like.
Nope, it's not on there. But it is on our Facebook page, on our Twitter page. You know, we use it for a lot of things.
Well, dang it, I just quit out of Facebook. Just my luck. Yes, Wendy's always smiling, for sure. Definitely. So, yeah, I mean, the basis of the story sounds insane. I mean, it's got to suck having all those powers. Like I said before, you know, you've got the whole world against you. And come on, bring us
You got
back
yourself
up.
against you.
Yeah, you got yourself against you all the time. And my computer just locked up. Fired. Are we going to work now? Hello?
Technology, am I right? One step forward, 5 step backs.
Every time. Well, here's the problem. So they keep updating StreamYard. And so one of the things they changed was the screen share option. Now you can share video straight from your phone. There we go. Wow, it did it on its own. So you can share videos now straight from your phone or your computer without uploading them to StreamYard, which is a huge plus because I make them on my iPhone and it only accepts WM4 files. And so trying to, you got to make a video, then you got to go over and convert it, and then you got to upload it, and it's a whole huge freaking process. So hopefully they get things worked out. But since they messed with the share thing, it's having issues.
Yeah. Well, hey, I get it, man. I run the same issue with Instagram. You know, first of all, there's no way you can upload files from your computer unless you change it to an iPhone setting, and then it only accepts JPEGs, and it only show it at certain sizes. The whole thing. If you have to, so I have to resize it, save it as a different file. So I'm so used to working with PNG. So Instagram is too phone friendly, not computer friendly.
Oh man, gotta love technology. Well, and that's the problem. We get so used to uploading things the way that they were before, and it's like now it's like it has to be a certain file type, or you're just screwed. And like you said, you know, PNGs are huge, and so you got to make it into a JPEG. But then you go to load it up, and it's not the right kind of JPEG. It doesn't like it. You must use this, and it's freaking a nightmare. So whatever, Facebook crashed on me, so we won't bring it up. If you guys want to see the variant cover, go check out Energy Comics on Facebook. I was going to post the link, and I don't think I copied and pasted it. Maybe I did.
Let me see if I.
He's gone. He just kicked himself out. Fired. So anyway, while I'm here too, everybody that's watching, Jack asked the whole thing about so we had the he's back. I will tell this real quick before we move on. So Jack, you asked the other day about me doing a live reading of Lords of the Cosmos, and I have the first 3 issues. So I will be doing a live reading probably Monday, sometime next week, Monday to Wednesday, because I got a bunch of shows planned with the launch. So guys, look forward to that. I will be posting it to my page soon about the live reading of issues 1 to 3 of Lord of the Cosmos. Thanks to Jack here, who threw me on the spot. I wanted a live reading of that. Did you get it to pull up?
Yeah. Well, no, I tripped out and then I just quickly came back in. So.
Oh, you're good.
I mean, I can try that again. Give me a sec.
No, you're good. So, yeah, Jack, your wish came true. I will be doing a live reading of that sometime next week. As you guys know, the launch will be Tuesday, so there's no show tomorrow. And then Tuesday night, I'll be on with Brian K. Morris with Clever Title Pending at 7 p.m. Central. So it'll start at 5 p.m. Pacific time, Wendy, 7 Central, and 8 p.m. Eastern. And it's a 2-hour show. So I'm planning on launching sometime during that show. I will be sharing it out. So definitely come on there and watch. And you might get a heads up of when the project's going to launch. You didn't make me work harder. I'm excited about it. I love doing live reading, so it's all good. It's all good. Everything's crashing tonight. Fired. All of it. The whole 9 yards. He's back. Hold on a second, guys. Here we are.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how to like post in the actual comment section without just being an audience member.
Oh, I got you. That's all right. I got Facebook back up, so I'll pull it up.
All right.
So we can talk about stuff while that. So
Okay.
what's your favorite genre of movies? And are you like into anime or anything like that? Because I mean, that was one of my big questions about the book, and we kind of derailed there for a little while talking about other stuff. But it's got a little bit of an anime style to the art to it. Is that just his art, or is that kind of the way you mentioned earlier, Super Saiyan? So obviously you're into anime.
I am not as much as other people. I mean, I don't follow it like religiously as other people do. I have a few favorites. Honestly, I haven't watched anime in a while. Like but the writer of the book, Webb, is a huge anime fan. So a lot of what he took for the series, he was influenced by anime. You know, things like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, you know, One Piece, some of the better ones. I guess but yeah, I am, and like those are some of my favorites too. You know, some of the more super power based ones where like, everything is like so unique and that it's stuff that's been done before, but it just they put it do it in an original way, that kind of stuff. Um, I guess in terms of favorite genre movies, obviously my biggest ones would be superheroes. You know, I love superhero movies. You know, um, that's the thing about live is you don't have to post comments; you can just answer it live. That's true. That's true.
Unless
Speaking of
it's a
which,
picture.
yeah. Speaking of which, Jack Napier, that Joker, Jack Nicholson is my favorite one. So bravo to you. So, but also my favorite genre movies, I guess. I have two. It's like I love animation. You know, comics and cartoons. That's my big thing. And my favorite movie of all time is Nightmare Before Christmas. You know, that's my favorite movie. And yeah, the other movies I like, I'm actually kind of a musical fan. You know, I grew up in like going to shows at the Civic Center, like seeing musicals and plays and stuff. So seeing a musical done in a movie, or something where people are just singing about whatever is Ninja Scroll, super classic. Yeah.
Ninja Scroll. Very good.
Yep. And just seeing like just having a movie where people can be talking one instance and then just singing the other, or just singing all the way through like Les Mis, it's enjoyable for me because I do love music.
So what's your favorite musical?
Musical. That let's see. It kind of changes depending on which one I see. I think the first one that comes, I guess it's tied. The first one of my favorites is Mamma Mia because that made me a huge fan of ABBA. You know, I really got into that band. That's like my favorite band now. But honestly, my favorite musical in terms of art and like storytelling, I think it would be Les Mis. You know, I mean that story just moves me every time, and I know it takes place in France, but whenever I watch it, I feel like just feel like a patriot. You know, for some reason, it's like do you hear the people sing and like one day more, and also I loved um, Hugh Jackman as Jean Valjean in the movie because I love him as Wolverine. He's one of my favorite actors. So to see him play Jean Valjean, that was a dream come true.
You got Steph Wilson out here naming off all of them. Actually, Steph does all the circles.
Those are good ones. Those are on my list to see. Actually, I haven't seen all the musicals, but my goal is to. You know, actually, the one I really want to see is one that came out like just within the last year is the new Beetlejuice musical. You know,
I didn't even know they made one. That sounds awesome.
it is. I've heard some of the music for it. It's like very good. The two songs I recommend the most are the whole being dead thing, and then what was it like? Say my name. And the first one is an introduction to the musical. The other one is like a song that takes place when Beetlejuice is trying to make a deal with Lydia. So it's like say my name. Yeah, it's very good. So I'm a huge Tim Burton fan. So anyone who could do one of his movies in musical form, I'll see it.
Tim Burton is awesome. And Beetlejuice is one of my favorite. That's like a classic movie from when I was a kid. I've seen it probably 1,000 times.
Yeah, and that's why Nightmare Before Christmas is my favorite movie, and that's also why his first two Batman films are my favorite. You know, I feel like he had a unique spin on them, but still had been able to capture that classic Gothic Batman feel. No.
And I was able to pull up Facebook, guys, and drop the link. Everybody on for everybody that's on YouTube or on Facebook, there's the link to the Energy Comics page where you can go follow it and see the updates and the alternate cover on there, as well as the Empress cover. I'm not going to try to pull up the screen share again because it glitched up that last time. I don't want to throw us out of here. But I'm trying to think of what the name is of the musical that I seen with that's got the lead singer from Five Finger Death Punch in it. It was like a carnival musical, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I don't mind talking about musicals. A lot of them are really, really good. Like I can't think of the name of it.
Was it Carousel?
I don't know. I'm gonna look it up here. That's gonna
wait. What was it? The Greatest Showman?
No, it wasn't The Greatest Showman, because that's the one. That one has Hugh Jackman in it.
Was it the one that was the sequel to Phantom of the Opera?
I'm pulling it up now. Let's see. Five Finger Death Punch musical. That's what's good about the Googles. I don't have to try to sit here and remember it.
Yeah. Trying to think what else could have been.
It'd help if I can remember his Beetlejuice. We got Jimmy Noble instead. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be a horrible thing. You know, you got Jim showing up painted like a clown. All right. We're going to figure this out here. Five Finger Death Punch lead singer. I can't remember his name. Then we can go from there. Ivan Moody. Duh. Jesus. Ivan Moody musical. I'm at that time of night that my brain shuts off. It's been one of those days today. It was minus 13 this morning. So my pain has gone through the roof.
I'm sorry to hear that.
What in the hell is the name of that? Like, you kidding me? It's not even coming up on the freaking Googles.
Try Carnival musicals.
Oh, yeah, I guess that would make sense. Carnival. See, told you I'm brain dead tonight.
No, I get it, dude. It's late at night. You know, we're doing the best we can.
The Devil's Carnival. That was the name of it. And that was really good. And it's not like satanic or anything like that. So everybody's like, oh my gosh, that sounds horrible. It was really good. And I tell you what, man, Ivan Moody has a hell of a voice. I seen him live with Soliarna and Godsmack. So he didn't just do Godsmack. He also did the Soliarna album that he did with, I can't remember the chick's name, so don't even ask me to remember what her name was.
I won't.
And but you know, Five Finger Death Punch headlined the show, and it was freaking amazing. And his voice is just awesome. Now, as a person, he makes some very bad life choices and is a douchebag at times, but his voice is spectacular. And if you guys haven't seen The Devil's Carnival, it was on Netflix, and that's how I ended up finding it, because I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I started watching it. I'm like, holy crap, that's Ivan Moody. I'm like, no way. He's painted like a clown and he has a red clown nose on. I'm like, that's not him. And then, like, at the end, I was like looking at the cast. I was like, okay, who's the hobo clown? Ivan Moody. I was like, holy shit, it really was him.
I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, it should still be on Netflix. Let's see, watch now. All watch options. The Googles will tell us everything. So on YouTube, you can watch it for $2.99. It's on Amazon Prime with subscription. You can watch it for free. And it looks like it's no longer on Netflix. Very good, though. It got a 70% on Rotten Tomatoes, but they can kiss ass because I thought it was pretty good.
Nice. Let's see. Jack Napier. Jack, to answer your question, I think I would prefer negative 13. I love the cold. You know, in the cold, I can just layer up, to just stay warm. But when it's 113 degrees Fahrenheit, there's only so much declothing I can do before it's indecent.
I have got to know what Steph Wilson left for to go get reference pictures of Bernie's mittens. Oh my God. It's got to be a totally rad comics cover. This is going to be great. And so to answer your question, would I prefer negative 13 or 113 degrees Fahrenheit? Punch Club, now personally, I think both suck, but I would prefer the negative 13 because you can add more clothes and keep warm. So no, I'm going to go against the grain here, against both of you guys, and say I would rather it be 113 degrees outside. Just because I can stay inside and I don't have to have clothes on, and I can just walk around the house in my boxers I'm good to go. When it's minus 13 degrees outside and I have to freaking work in it, like that sucks balls because you layer up and then you sweat. And then when you sweat from getting in and out of the truck or in and out doing stuff and you go out in the cold, you turn into a freaking popsicle. And I hate that. And you get lovely stuff like this.
Ouch.
Yeah, so I was outside. This was just from Thursday. It was minus 10 in the morning, and my back door froze shut. So I had to use the wheel truck to bang the door around the edges to get the back door on the truck open. And so my hand got wet, and the wind chill just completely, like, I went like this, and it all just busted open. So, yeah, screw negative 13-degree weather all the way. 113 degrees. I'm cool with it. Then I'll lose weight, and I won't be a fat kid anymore. Yes, I agree, Wendy, 100%. And see, when you have pain issues like we do too, she says 65 degrees today, sunshine and happiness. So I have major back problems and fibro. And so, like, these cold snaps. So, we, like, literally a week ago, it was 54 degrees here. And then, like, now we're in, like, I think tomorrow it's negative 30 wind chills. We're supposed to get 50 to 60 mile an hour winds, 1 to 2 inches of snow. I'm like, I'm good. I'm at home. I don't work tomorrow, and I hope it snows so much I don't have to go to work on Monday. Shh! Don't tell anybody I said that. I'm just kidding.
Where are you located? That has like negative 30.
So
like,
I'm in Missouri. I'm in the central.
so you're one of the
Missouri.
northern states.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the middle. We're at central. So I got two or three above and 2 below, and then we're pretty much right here in the center. But man, no, like this only happens when we get this polar vortex. So I remember like 6 years ago when we had this. We got 8 inches of snow and it was like minus 15 here. I drove to a customer and from Pacific to Columbia, Missouri, which is like a 2.5 hour drive. So like don't go in 70 to Edwin was cold. I get to my first stop, I got 800 gallons of oil for him, and it was pumping at 0.4 gallons a minute instead of 12.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, holy crap, I got to pump 800 gallons. And I'm like, my boss calls me like 7 hours later, where are you at? I'm like, I'm still at my first stop. Like, screw today. I'm outside pumping in this tank. I'm totally done with all of this. So we don't normally have cold weather like this, but they said there's whatever this polar vortex bull crap that came back from 6 years ago. It's been ridiculous here. Like this morning, the high this morning was -1 with a negative 13-degree wind chill. And I was like, yay. And I don't even want to know what it is right now. I give up on the whole weather thing. Screw all that.
Well, I'm in Iowa, like our weather is like completely random,
Oh yes, yeah. You're right above me. You're only like 3. Well, I was 2.5 hours from me. So yeah, we get that crazy bullshit where it's like 80 degrees today. Tomorrow it's 15, and then the next day it's 15 degrees in the morning, and then 80 degrees at noon. So you don't even know what to wear to work, and it is brutal. Like Steph always makes fun of us for being the flyover states, but like if only those people lived here and dealt with the crazy weather that we deal with. I mean, I'll take it though, because at least we don't get earthquakes or tsunamis or freaking
or
hurricanes. Yeah, like they're always like, "Oh man, you ought to move out here. The weather's so much better. It's not flip flopping back and forth." And I'm like, I'm good. Like I seen this hurricane last week wipe out half of Texas. I think I'm good.
No, it's like everyone says move out here. The weather is perfect, but I mean, all those other like states have something going on that makes it like that would make it so horrible living. Like nothing bad ever happens in the Midwest,
Yeah, like unless you live in Oklahoma and you have to deal with rattlesnakes and scorpions. But like people are like, "Oh, you should move to Florida." I'm like, "What? Where the freaking cockroaches are the size of house dogs?" and
or the alligators?
The alligators. You get eaten by the meth gators. Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. You don't get tornadoes out there, but
yeah, but at least with tornadoes and tsunamis, you get like a 3-day warning. With earthquakes, like you could be sitting on the toilet one day and it's like,
yeah, or you're windy and you're running into your comics room going,
yeah. You're not raising the roof. You're not raising the roof. That's not what that is.
No, I asked her the last one that she had because she was on with April Grady Reyna, like I guess a month or two ago, and they had just had an earthquake. And I was like, so how did your books make it? She's like, there was only one book, and it was kind of sitting out just a little bit out. She's like, I was totally shocked. But and one thing that's funny is, like they mentioned, there's no tornadoes, and it's like, people act like tornadoes are a big deal. But to us, we're just like, if we hear there's a tornado, where are we at? We're out on the porch looking for it, right?
We're like storm chasers like that.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about they suck, protect the comic room. Exactly. And so, yeah, like people are like, oh man, what's it like having a tornado? I was like, oh, what do you mean? And like, it just blows stuff around. Well, where do you guys go? Do you go in the basement? I'm like, no, I'm out on the front porch going, where's it coming from? I want to see some cars and shit flying around.
I haven't gone to Oz, but I'm hoping so one day.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Follow the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah.
But that's not true. Earthquakes happen all the time. Just most of the time, we don't feel them. Well, Jack, the thing is, I live right on the New Madrid Fault. So the New Madrid Fault runs up through Missouri, through New Madrid, and it kind of runs up along 55. And so, I mean, we do live on a fault, and we did have an earthquake that made the Mississippi River run backwards for about half of a day. But it's been forever since we've had one, so we're due for one. But that's one of the craziest, scariest things in the world is living close to a fault like that. Because one of the stops that I do, I drive 2.5 miles down into a mine, and I drive through the fault. There is a barricade set up along the roof and along the walls. And it's like, it's marked off, this is the New Madrid Fault. And so you're driving through it, and you're like, this is the only way out. Once I get past this point, if there is an earthquake, I'm so screwed because like it's going to move this tunnel. Like it's going to just be completely closed off. So it's insane.
They should do something about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess they'll find me eventually.
Yeah.
If that was Zambies will get me down there. Who knows? Ever since we want to see the best thing about earthquakes overall is they are short. They don't last very long. Do tsunamis, all these other things, they last for long periods of time. Very true. How in the hell did we derail onto freaking storms? I don't even know how this happened. Oh, we were talking about the freaking cold here today.
Yeah.
But what was your guys' high today?
Honestly, I think it was like a -8. I'm thinking.
Oh my gosh.
Or maybe it was just like 0 degrees or something. Maybe just I don't know. I mean, honestly, I've been working on the comic stuff all day. I haven't even noticed.
Oh, I hear you, man. That's how I am. I'm like, yep, it's the weekend. I'm staying home. Have you guys got any crazy snowstorms yet? Because I know you're north of me, and north of me, like Troy to up to Hannibal, got hammered.
Yeah, we've been getting some snow on and off. It's nothing we haven't dealt with before, I mean, honestly, I feel like we're doing a lot better than Canada or Wisconsin. That's why I feel so bad for living in Iowa for all my life. Because, I mean, like I said, nothing bad almost ever happens here. No extreme weather, not that like crime, terrorist attacks or whatever. It's like I feel bad that we just like live in a place where on TV they said Des Moines is a lovely time of year. But I'm lucked out. I feel like I lucked out.
So you guys got all the cool shit up there by Des Moines, because between Des Moines and Hannibal, there's like 600 Casey's gas stations, and there's really nothing else other than that. But once you get up to Des Moines and you go up to Boone, like we drove up there with the kids. Well, actually, Adriana wasn't born yet. But we took Roderick up there and rode the Boone and Scenic Railroad. That was freaking beautiful, man, going over the river.
Yeah, we got a lot of beautiful stuff here. We got like Madison County, like bridges. We got like hills that we can go hiking in. Everyone says like Des Moines. I swear to God, like everyone who comes to Des Moines who's never been here says there's nothing to do in Des Moines. I was like, that's not true. I've lived here my whole life. You just gotta. There is a lot to do. You just gotta like look for it. You gotta actually put some effort into it. You can't. It's not like you can just like walk down the street in New York and it's like go into like a club or something. You actually work for your fun here.
You got to actively find it or know somebody that knows somebody that knows something.
Yeah, and for the record, Des Moines, let alone Iowa, was named by Forbes years ago as the #1 place to start a new business. It's like a booming place, and like one day it turns to like the next Kansas City or Chicago, but without all the problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I want to base my comics here, and especially with my comics, because like in Des Moines, I am smack dab in the middle of all these major cons that happen in Missouri, in Kansas, in Chicago, in Minneapolis, in Ohio. Like all these famous cons, I'm just within driving distance of.
So are you guys planning on setting up at any of the cons like C2E2 or the what do they call it in Kansas City now, WonderCon or
Yeah, WonderCon. Yeah. Well, that was we were hoping to. Like we're kind of gonna get stuff to offer. The problem with the pandemic is we haven't gotten a place to, but but we're hoping to. Yeah, we do definitely want to go to C2E. I've been to C2 as a fan, and
yeah.
mostly when I go to that, it's not much as a fan. It's a networking thing for me. I'm going from booth to booth in the artist alley, interacting with people, helping support them, helping asking them to support me. It's a business trip either way.
Yeah, and we're kind of on the fence about C2E2 this year because last year they made the dumb mistake of moving it to the last week of February, which I mean, I guess it wasn't dumb because it was right before the shutdown happened. So they
Yeah.
lucked out with doing it. But I'm like, there's no way, man. We went in March the year before last and it was like super freaking cold there. And so, yeah, we're like, no, we're good this year. Plus, I had all my stuff happening last year. So we ended up, we wouldn't have been able to go anyway.
Well, the
But
thing about cons is, I'm sure you've noticed this, they do not crank up the air conditioning in those.
no, it's one big sweaty mosh pit. I
And you
mean,
think
that's
and you think
basically.
they would because all those people in these big, bulky, like insulated costumes, they don't want to get heat stroke.
Yep,
That's my one complaint with these cons. I love cons. I feel at home, but it's just the heat is unbearable.
it is. Well, especially at C2E2, the McCormick place. I understand it's a huge building, but like the year that we went, it was freaking roasting in there. Like I made it like a quarter of the way across the con floor, and I'm like sweating to death, standing in line at the CGC line. That was a huge mistake too. That was the first year in 19 they went digital with the stand in line. You would go into the line and you would get up there, and there was this little tablet, and you would put your phone number in it, and they're like, "Thank you for registering. When you're next in line, we'll send you a text message." So I walked around for like 9 hours. I was like, dude, I was like the first person in line. I'm like, why? I'm carrying around this backpack full of books and a binder, and I'm trying to protect them. So somebody doesn't bump in because I had some of my pretty high end books that I'm like, I'm getting this signed by Lucio Perillo because this is the like freaking best Vampirella Deja Thoris cover I've ever seen, and
Yeah.
I'm guarding this thing with my life. And so I finally go up there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we've been having problems. You should have came up here sooner. Like it hasn't been texting anybody." I was like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Well,
But
yeah. I mean, I totally get what you're saying, and I enjoyed going to C2E2 the first time I went, which was actually back in 2019 too. I mean, I got to meet all these like artists that I didn't even know work on the books that I did. I got to meet Ryan Otley. The artist for Invincible is like one of my favorite artists of all time. And I
Invincible is
got
a
to
great
talk with him.
series.
Yeah, it's still one of my favorite superhero series of all time. And I got to talk with him. I got to interact with him. I got a print signed for him. I got it hanging up on my wall. It was awesome. And I'm hoping I can hire him one day to do a book for me.
Well, and that's the bad thing about C2E2. I got to meet Don McTeague, Scotty Young, uh, Ryan Kincaid, uh, Jamie Tyndall, and like all of these artists, and Murat Michaels, and like of all people, like I had no idea that Jesse Witchman was there or that Kara Nicole and Alfred were there. And like they're like, "Oh yeah, we were at C2E2." I was like, "You guys were?" I'm like, "What the? How did I miss this?" It's huge. It's a great place to go. So I'm kind of excited about it this year, and that's something that we're all really pining for is the con season. Like, get out, let's mingle with some other nerds and talk about cool shit in our books and all the cool things that are out right now. Let's get some books signed and sent off to CGC and actually get some books in the mail again. Because that's one thing I will not do is I will not mail in books to CGC ever. I do not trust the mail. They can't even get my books to me when I order books or
Oh,
buy books.
preach it, brother. Preach it.
Now I got to send the book to CGC and they got to send it back to me. So like I'm good with that. So like when I go in there with like a whole short box full of books. I'm like, I want all these graded, and then this half I'm going to go you to follow me around. We're going to get this stuff signed. But it's like I'm hoping this year, since it's in, I think it's the first week of December. Hopefully it won't be super cold since we've been having the crazy summer weather and winter. That C2E2, once we get the vaccines going, hopefully cons will be able to open up. I mean, we all know how Chicago's been with the restrictions, But hopefully it's something that can happen because I really am excited. A nerd, I'm out. Get out of here. And so I'm really excited. I'm really hoping it opens back up so I can meet people like you. And, I could go and when this bad boy gets funded next week and get it printed and get to meet everybody and be like, oh, hey, let's talk about the book for 3.5 hours and just stand here and shoot the shit, because it's fun. It's fun to talk about our worlds. And, hey, that's the best part. I mean, I can see the smile on your face. It's like, you got this book that's coming out and you're so excited to find out all the questions that people have about Zener and his world. And, well, people are going to pick up different things in the book that you're not going to think about. And you're going to be like, oh, well, I never thought about that. Well, let's expand on it, and that's the best part about the con scene is getting to have that interaction.
It
So
is. It
have
is.
you guys gone to a con before as creators, or has it always been like as a fan?
No, I have gone to cons. In Des Moines, we have like my comic book club that I'm a part of, and we were thinking of going to a con this year, like Heroes Con in Charlotte, North Carolina. So we're thinking of doing that just as fans again. But we put on a con in Des Moines every year. We didn't last year, of course, but we try to put on a small con every year. It's a smaller, more comic book focused. And like for the last 2 years, I have been doing a booth there, and I've got to share Empress with people, and I got to introduce Zener to people, and it was a blast. Just talking to people, trying to get them interested in my book, trying to of course I'm trying to get them to buy something, but honestly, I just like talking with these people and sharing them my work, because I feel like I'm actually doing my dream. I'm working the dream I want to.
Well, if it's one thing that writers are good at, they're not just good at writing, they're good at talking. And they want to show off all this cool shit that they have. So, I mean, that's the worst thing to do is walk up to a writer table and ask them about their book. It's like, how long do you have? Let's talk about this.
Yeah, it's actually pretty ironic. When I was a kid, I was a very shy kid. I didn't like talking to people. But once I started getting into comics, I knew I had to start talking to all these creators, get their advice. So I started going to booths, just talking to them, and I just got into it, And now I feel weird when I'm not talking to someone.
So if alive, what is the one biggest artist or creator that you would want to meet at a con and talk to?
I've already done that.
You've already done that.
Stanley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I got my picture taken. I didn't actually get to talk to him, but I got to hear him. Like talk about Marvel Comics. But actually, I actually got to meet a lot of my favorite artists already. One more. Are you familiar with the series Sunstone?
No, I am not.
It's by this artist I met on DeviantArt. It's called Steven Tajenic. I got to meet him at San Diego Con after I graduated college, and I just got to sit down with him and like just talk with him about his books and how much I love his art style. Get him signed. It was just a pleasure to meet because I wasn't sure I was ever going to meet him because he's a Mediterranean artist. He lives in the Mediterranean in Europe, and it surprised me that I was going to be there, and I just knew I had to meet him. But let's see. In terms of like the one that I haven't seen yet, honestly, I want to meet Bruce Timm. I want to tell him that his art and his work on the DC characters are what influenced mine, and just how much I feel he really revamped the Batman story arcs to make it what we are today, and how genius his work is.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at. Sorry, I don't mean to like have my jaw drop. I'm looking at the Sunstone, and if this is the same Sunstone, holy crap, this looks awesome.
It is. It is.
Here, let's pull it up so we can confirm or deny. We're share screening this, so we're gonna break it. We're gonna find out.
All right.
Share screen. Come on, you can do it. I've got faith. Share screen. Since I got hit share screen 9 times now. Thank you, StreamYard.
It's like technology, right? We already covered that.
Yeah, we're gonna make things better.
Yep, that's it. That's it right there.
Man, that looks freaking amazing.
It is. And the two things I love about it are, first of all, the artwork is incredibly detailed. That's what I love about the artist. He can even do just like a digital sketch, and it will already look like a finished piece. I mean, what you see here is its final product, and it is amazing. It's like a painting brought to life. And the other thing I like about it is like the humor in the book. I mean, it touches on a lot of sensitive stuff, but like the humor about it, like it's everyday humor. It's like this guy has a great sense of humor that he puts in his book. It's like it's a natural sense that you see with everyone. That you see with the people you talk with or your family, he gets how to portray real people.
Yeah, I mean, the artwork looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of interested to see what the story's about with this one because she's ball gagged in there. So
I can give you a sales pitch for it if you want. So
sure, let's hear the sales pitch for the Sunstone series.
So basically, Sunstone is kind of an exploration on BDSM, but it's a kind of a romantic comedy that centers around this. But it kind of goes deeper into like how it works and just how trust and like a partnership and friendship is in something like this. And it kind of explores how these two grow closer by fulfilling each other's needs. So,
Hmm.
so this guy pokes a lot of fun um at what's that 50 Shades of Grey. It's like noob, like it's nothing like 50 Shades of Grey. It's better than 50 Shades of Grey, but it's something similar. Like it's actually what 50 Shades of Grey should have been.
No, I totally get that. And it looks awesome. It definitely looks phenomenal. I'll definitely look into it. It's available on Amazon for the trade. So
Yep. And this guy, he's also worked on famous series like Darkness and Witchblade.
Oh yeah, Witchblade and The Darkness are both freaking awesome.
Yeah, and he's got a whole bunch of other cool series too. Like let's see, I think like Grave Diggers or something. Like it's about like these undead like spirits who protect the world from Lethethians. And like these guys, they have like bleached hair and like they got like these cool weapons. Like one guy has like a shovel and a pickaxe, so like look like a grave robber, And
That's cool.
And he's done like a teenage version of like Witchblade called like Twitchblade, and it's humorous. It's great. It started out. A lot of these started out as just like parodies of like stuff that he had no intention of doing, but then he realized he loved them so much that he had to turn them into like these books that he wanted to do, and that's like one of the things I love about this guy. I relate to him. It's like when I have an idea that starts out just like a humorous thing or just a parody, I love it so much I want to make it into an actual thing.
Oh yeah, I totally get you, and that's the most fun to do. Like, let's see here. I mean, I had this idea so we did the whole thing with Stuff Wilson. We turned him into Stuff Pool with his You Can Draw, and so I was like, it'd be great to do a Naughty Fairy Stripper Assassin and do Stuff Pool as a fairy riding a unicorn, a stick unicorn. So, that's me. That's one of my things. I like to have fun. I like to joke around. I like to be serious about stuff, but, that's my whole thing. I want to have fun. Let's have a great experience. Let's joke around about stuff. And, and that's the great thing with Steph and Ruben and I and the whole crowd, Jack and, Andre and all them is we bust each other's balls. And that's what makes it fun. We love each other, but yet we give each other a hard time because, you got to stay creative. So
You do.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the screen. I'm going to give you a chance to tell everybody where they can find you. Give that one last elevator pitch. And I'm going to post the link in the comments to the Indiegogo while you're doing that.
All right. Thank you. What up, people of the internet? Thank you for having me on Russell's show. I am Alex Dahl, founder and writer of NRG Comics. You can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, DeviantArt, Tapas, Webtoons. Let's see. We have our own website, and you can find Zener, Master of the Mind, which stars a very powerful psychic superhero, but with a very fragile mentality to use his powers. And he is going up against all this powerful evil with him in the middle of it, and he's just trying to live his life. And you can find that on Indiegogo. We are running for 30 days. We're in our first week. You can find it. We have a lot of rewards to give. You can find us on Indiegogo. We would love to appreciate your support. And even if you can't donate, just spread the word. That will do more. Thank you. God bless.
All right, I'm back.
Nice.
When I got kicked out of StreamYard earlier, it pulled the Indiegogo link from the private chat. That was really nice of them to do that to me. Usually it always stays in there, so I'm fired. So, you guys, the link is in the comments. It's also in the description of the video for you guys to find it. Thanks so much for being on here tonight, Alex. Thanks for talking about, your inspirations and the book and, derailing into the craziness of the conversation as it always ends up going.
It was fun. It was fun. I had a great time being here, Russell. Thank you for having me. I'd love to be back on again sometime. Like
Definitely, man.
hopefully we got Empress or Tin Man, just some other series. We
Hey,
got
you know what?
we actually have a actual physical copy of Zener to show you.
Definitely, and not just that. I do. I'm planning on next Wednesday doing a just a random group chat show. I'm going to ask a few people. I think Heather Ellen with Comics and More New Jersey is going to be on. I'm going to ask Jack and a couple other people if they want to be back on again. Of course, Mike and Trish, and see if they want to be on. So if it ends up coming to fruition, there's a possibility of doing another show. So I'm not solid on that happening, but you're more than welcome to come on there and just chat BS with us and talk about comics.
I would love to. I would honestly love to. And Jack Napier, thank you. And before I go, I got a question for you. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
So it was great having you, Alex. I'm going to kick you back to the green room. If you want to hang out there for a minute or two so we can chat afterwards, I'll be
Sure.
back shortly.
Thank you.
Is it going to change? Yeah, there it goes. Why is my phone locked up? Anyway, whatever, guys. My phone's being crazy. So, can you guys hear me still? There we go. What is going on here? Technical difficulties. It's because I did that last share stream. I told you it was going to break it. Anyway, guys, great show tonight. Definitely go check out Alex's project. Check out Energy Comics. Check out Zener. If you can't afford to bag it, share it. Share is worth its weight in gold. Throw $1 at it. Make people see that there's people back and how many, So whatever you guys can do, throw a few bucks at it, share it. Anything helps. And there's your answer. Yes, he has danced to the devil in the pale moonlight. So, guys, no show tomorrow. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. Treat your lady right. And I will be back in full force Tuesday night. Brian K. Morris, clever title pending from Rising Tide Publications. Come check out the show. I will share the link to my page, my personal page, everywhere. I'm going to blast it all over the place. Please come watch. Come support me. Come hang out and see me on the other end of the seat getting drilled with questions. And come find out what makes me tick and what inspires me. I had a great show tonight, everybody. Thanks a lot for being here. Thanks for asking questions. And again, go check out Zener. Share it out. Spread the love. And go like the page and check it out. Everyone have a great night and have a great Valentine's Day. Russ Explode Studios, projects that'll blow your mind. Have a great weekend.